Drew McDonald or Drew McIntyre, whatever you want to call him, he has COVID, but he doesn't really have that many serious signs. He's just quarantining right now, and he's expected to appear at the Royal Rumble still, as far as I'm aware. In other news, Raw did a 0.55 rating with Ric Flair on the show, and I skimmed through the highlights, and definitely the most entertaining part of the highlights, not even close, was Ric Flair's little segment that he did with Charlotte and Lacey Evans. According to multiple news sources, Impact and Jeff Jarrett settled their lawsuit that was in relation to Global Force Wrestling, which there was a very short collaboration with Jeff Jarrett's Global Force Wrestling, which never really went anywhere, wasn't known or wasn't popular, but for some reason, at one point in time, Impact temporarily rebranded themselves Global Force Wrestling, and in the process, Jarrett gave them videotapes of GFW footage, and there was an argument over who owned it, but apparently the footage went missing in some bizarre turn of events. And finally, it was settled out of court. So they came to an agreement, and I guess everything's done now with that. SWE Fury has that big event February 27th featuring Terry Funk that is going to be taking place in Carthage, Texas. I'll be there covering the event for the Hannibal TV. Tickets go on sale this Saturday at 10 a.m. And there's a few more announcements today. The British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith Jr. is now also going to be part of that event, along with Mil Mortes, which I'm sure I'm pronouncing wrong, who is better known or also known as Ricky Banderas. I had numerous matches with him in Puerto Rico, and there's going to be a ton of other stars there, including Lacey Von Erich, Rodney Mack, Charlie Haas Molina, Selena De La Renta with the Blood Hunter, the Boogeyman, Shaul Guerrero, Miranda Gordy, Christy James, Moonshine Mantell, and Teddy Long, among others. So this might be the biggest independent wrestling event of 2021 so far, by the sounds of it, at the Carthage Civic Center, February 27th. And you can't forget about the February 6th Sweethearts Brawl outside of Dallas, also presented by SWE Fury, that I'm also going to be covering. So I'm looking forward to both of those events. Looking forward to getting the hell out of Ontario, where they're putting us under more quote-unquote extreme lockdown restrictions this week for another month. So I'm looking forward to getting the hell out of here. Basil says, great preview. Joe says, the oldest ride, the longest line. I think Ric Flair might still be the best, most entertaining wrestler in professional wrestling. Sam Lentz, apparently one of the symptoms of COVID is you can't draw. This is the saddest time in wrestling, Mirad says. When you have Ric Flair on the show and you only get a 0.55 rating, it is sad. But as I said, he was entertaining. I have to say, thumbs up to that segment. Lacey is also a gorgeous lady as well. DJ Razor 357, who still watches WWE? A continuously diminishing audience still watches it, but it's going down year after year. I believe the drop from 2019 to 2020 was another 8%, and that is even with WWE being on Fox for the majority of 2020, when they only got on in the fall of 2019. So you would think being on network television would actually make their audience bigger. By the way, Rick Bassman did an interview with Guy Mesger and Chavo Guerrero, who was the trainer for Glow. the behind-the-scenes trainer that trained all those girls how to wrestle. So you can search that up on this channel. They streamed it live about an hour ago. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at the Hannibal TV, by the way. And this is streaming right now on our Facebook page. I'm streaming the majority of our shoot interviews on there. But I do have a members-only live stream shoot interview Friday with WWE legend Ted Arcidi. So if you want to help this channel grow, it's $1.99 a month. And you have access to those members-only live streams. Of course, it will be for everyone else a week or two later, but it will be live only to members, and it will also go up at patreon.com/thehannibal.tv. Someone's making a rhyme about Miranda Alize, which I think I'm mispronouncing, by the way. I'm going to try and get an interview with her. I'm working on one with Shaul Guerrero. By the way, I'm also interviewing on Thursday at 3 p.m. another lady that's going to be appearing at the Sweethearts Brawl February 6th, Renee Michelle. So tune in for that. It's going to be at 3 p.m. on Thursday. And it'll also be streaming on the SWE Fury channel, which I do interviews for as well. Jay Miller likes my Buff Bagwell shoot interview. People either love that one or they hated it. Wayne says WWE has gone down the drain. Joe says Raw was horrible. As I said, the only thing I saw was the Ric Flair thing. So, again, maybe I'm not a fair judge of the show because nothing else interests me when I literally took my mouse and streamed through the highlights. And then I stopped it on the Ric Flair thing. Everything else didn't interest me in the least. Funky Fresh Rhyme says Renee Michelle is stacked. Catherine Dixon is saying Alize's last name is actually pronounced Alize. Okay, so let's go back to Miranda Alize. Thank you for the clarification on that, Catherine. I'll have to remember that. I don't want to mispronounce her name when I interview her. Jay, what was Raw's all-time low rating? It was a 0.41, which they hit a couple of weeks ago, actually. Puzu says New Day's promo is even shitty. It's funny because John Paz, who I did do an interview with yesterday, he actually interviewed me to test Rick Bassman's streaming abilities because he's going to be streaming more interviews on this channel. And it's funny, we did I posted an interview John Paz did with Xavier Woods on this channel, and I don't even think it has as many hits as John Paz and I just answering fan questions yesterday. So definitely like our Facebook page. That would be helping me out. Jacob says Ric Flair is depressing looking. Well, everyone gets older. Stevie says they released more UFO files today. Well, go to my Devon Hannibal Twitter account and DM me that information. Never saw anything like that. And of course, we do have a merchandise site, which you can find the link to at thehannibaltv.com, or look at the link of this description. We have the link, and people always ask me where they can get these sweaters and so forth. You can get them there, and if you do that, you're helping support the channel. Sam Lentz says 50-plus WWE writers, not one can write a plot or dialogue. As I've said before, SWE does not have matchmakers, but they don't have writers. They actually have matchmakers, and their matchmaking team now is Teddy Long, Kevin Sullivan, Terry Funk, and James Beard. And I would put that matchmaking team above anyone, absolutely anyone in WWE or AEW. AEW has some smart people on the roster like Jim Ross, But from the content I've seen and some of the complaints Jim Ross has publicly made about the AEW content, such as the overuse of super kicks and dives, I don't think that that they're taking his advice on much. Bon Luis says he enjoyed the Tatanka farting story. I'm sure you did enjoy it, but I didn't, being part of it. Catherine Dixon says COVID-19 era wrestling in the U.S. is so sad. Japan is running somewhat more normally. They had 20,000 fans around for the Wrestle Kingdom shows. Six Stevie says, funny how WWE used to make fun of WCW of having old wrestlers. Now they employ much older wrestlers. It's true. Now WWE uses those same wrestlers, the ones that are still alive, but now they're like 25 years older than back when WCW was, or when they were in WCW and WWE was making fun of them. So it's funny. It's because they don't have any new stars that actually draw. They got to bring Goldberg back to pop a rating, and I would rather watch Goldberg than anyone on the roster, to be honest with you. Paul Duncan says there's a video on TikTok with a UFO knocking a missile out of the air. I'll have to research that. I haven't seen it. I'm not on TikTok. Someone says nobody with working brain cells watches Raw in their free time. Yeah, I don't know. I can't sit through it. Puzus calls him Goldberg. I still actually would rather watch Goldberg than anyone else on the roster. I really would. And yeah, I think Bloodhunter versus Goldberg would be a good match, but Bloodhunter is far too hardcore for WWE. He'll be making a name for himself in SWE as the 2020s roll on. So thanks for all your comments. And if you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe to this channel and follow us at the Hannibal TV on our social media platforms. This Friday night, Ted RCD shoot. Thursday, Renee Michelle. So keep your eye out for that. Click notifications so you don't miss any of these live streams.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month to watch our full shoot interviews ad-free and help our channel grow.